week was a very busy week for us. We were interviewing for new assistants. So yeah, stay tuned. Just check us out, and we'll talk about the process and things that we go through, or steps that we go through when evaluating whether or not someone's going to be a good fit for our team. So yeah. So this is Kathleen.
Yes.
Hey, good morning, Kathleen. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Well, I guess it's afternoon, huh? My name is Wayne. I'm the president of the company, and this is Laura, the office manager.
I am Laura, the office manager, like you said.
Kathleen, so like I said, we have a really tight time window, so we'll kind of roll through this pretty quickly. But before we get into all the formalities, we'd like to afford you an opportunity to tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, sure, great. So I currently live here in Florida.
Okay.
I've been in the last year or so, I guess, helping my husband set up. We just purchased a franchise, so we do like home restoration if you have like water damage or fire damage.
Interesting.
Mold damage. So yeah, so we just had his office all set up. So now I'm looking to kind of just get back into the workforce for myself.
Okay.
And I'd like to do something remotely.
Okay. What's the name of the franchise you guys just purchased?
So it's Stop, S-T-O-P Restoration.
Okay.
She's like, no, I'm not a moody person. And I can kind of tell that she's not, just from her demeanor. She's very just kind of like robotic almost.
Well, I scored her very much differently.
You didn't like her?
I wouldn't say that I didn't like her. She was really harping on the
money.
Well, not the money, but
the
as far
hours,
as like the commitment and stuff.
Right.
Like that. So
maybe she just needs to know. I think it was a good quality as far as I.
So those are kind of things, and I'll also with the late login, and that it seemed like she had a problem logging in because most people would know, but I had an issue logging in.
Yep. She just, I think she just at time just got away from her.
So
she had somebody or something, either an animal or a kid, sitting there watching an iPad.
But I would say probably because she's in a similar field, maybe she has very good sales experience.
Well, I didn't get there though.
But I just kind of, she's currently doing similar work, so I assume that she had to do some quotes over the phone.
Well,
she didn't elaborate much over it. But.
I'm gonna give her a 3 then.
All right, guys. So this week the last 2 weeks we've been screening and going through applications, trying to find another person to help around in the office. So I know, like other businesses, well, I know me in particular, and I'm sure a lot of people have experienced the same thing, is there's a lot of struggle in the labor market as far as finding qualified candidates and also reliable people. Everyone's shorthanded these days, and it's getting increasingly tough to find good people. And then I had this conversation with somebody the other day who said, it seems like we're getting busier, but did the demand go up, or because we have a lack of people or supply or people to able to provide those services or do those things, those functions to provide the products, it makes the demand seem more than what it generally is. So over the last year, like everyone else, I found myself at the mercy of this labor market, and then I came up with some innovative ways to kind of take control back over my organization and not feel like I'm struggling. So we kind of changed, one of the biggest things is we kind of changed the way that we did interviews and our interviewing process and how we go about screening and selecting candidates. One of the things that I have to learn is when I was posting my job announcements or when I was announcing that I was hiring, we really had to really sit down and figure out what is our absolute bare minimum requirements. What is the requirements to do this job or fill this position? And what is it that we are willing to kind of bend on, that we're willing to like work with someone on? And then something like our non-negotiables. Today's market, it kind of forced you to kind of get a little bit innovative or creative or look at things with a different eye when it came to recruiting people, because you find yourself now recruiting or giving job opportunities to people that weren't ideal candidates 2 or 3 years ago, because you would have never given them the chance. So now we have to figure out, what is it that we're actually looking for? What does this person actually need to possess or be able to, skills that they need to have to be able to do this job? And so we have to take a lot of the personal, how you feel about someone's, personality and stuff is a big part, because that comes to play into when you're building a team and stuff like that. But we focus more on like, can this person do this job? What this person need, the skills that the person needs to have to be able to do those jobs. And then next, does this person fit into the dynamic that we already established here? One of the things that there was a point in time where I would sit and I would schedule interviews, and I would just like spend the whole entire day conducting interviews, but nobody would show up, because I just have this big old time window in which I schedule people to come in, but they never came in. So now what I do to kind of save on some time is I put my deal breakers or my non-negotiables on my job announcement. So I typed it up, and it's like they must have 2 years cleaning experience, or 3 years admin experience, or 4 years customer service experience, or whatever have you. And then I come up with all these criterias, and then if in the event that in any of those boxes they check no or they fell short, I just automatically discard them. Don't even waste my time looking at it. Next was assessments. There are several platforms that you can use, but I just use Indeed because they have a lot of already built-in established assessments. So I put these assessments on there, and then also I use that as another screening tool. One, if they did the assessment. Two, if they didn't do the assessment at all, I automatically discard them, because that shows that person's not even serious. They're not even serious about. They're not really serious about the job. They didn't even take it upon themselves to do the assessment. So if they didn't do the assessment, automatically got rid of them. And next, I used to do a lot of in-person interviews, and then I kind of shift with the marketplace, and I started doing a lot more virtual interviews, video interviews. And so what I start doing now is I'll send out a time or a confirmation time to the potential candidate after I done go through all the screen, I done read all their resumes and stuff like that, and I send them out to like a mass amount of people. And another thing is, like, if they don't confirm, like, so one of the things, I'm hiring for a virtual assistant, so this person needs to be technologically sound and techno savvy and all that jazz. So I send them a video conference or interview request or whatever, and they have to confirm it. And if they don't confirm it, I just don't waste it. Or if I schedule them for a slotted time and they are in there late, so let's say that the time is 9 o'clock, and they show up at they log in at 9:01 or 9:05 or whatever like that, I just go ahead and discard. I don't even waste my time with any investor, thank you for logging in, unless there's some extenuating circumstances. But for the most part, if they're late, I don't even I just go ahead and get rid of them. Okay, so let's talk about the actual interview itself. Like I said, one of the things is, there's been a huge dynamic shift in the market where now there's very limited people in the labor force, or they're very selective or choosy, or seems not as serious. You get like a lot more people that's not as serious, or they're exploring their options or whatever. So often what I found the trend is, now we find that employees or potential employees will be interviewing the employer, and the employer will be selling themselves or the company to this potential employee. And I found that that's doing that, I didn't get much quality people or reliable people, or they came in with this sense of entitlement or arrogance that make them very difficult to deal with or work with. So I had to take that power back. So one of the things I do when I do the interview is that I always lead with, hey, I got a couple of questions before we get into it. How about you tell us a little about yourself? And I allowed them to tell us about themselves. And then I don't answer any questions at the beginning. I lead with my questions. And so my very first question was, what made you apply for this opportunity? What made you apply for this job? And then you can get a lot of like, you can really get a good feel on, you know, how serious or genuine or how reliable this person is going to be based off that response. Usually based off that answer, I already got an idea of, you know, whether or not this person is going to be a good fit, because usually they'll tell you like, oh, you know, I'm looking for something flexible. I'm not, you know, really like, you know, I'm looking for something more part-time that you can know that I can do at my own pace. And we got all these keywords and indicators that they start talking. It seems like they're not going to be reliable on the rest of the interview. I'm just kind of like going through the motions. And then I asked them a lot of questions scenario-based questions. And then, but lastly, I always finish with how many people that we had applied, and then what makes them feel that they're the best person for this position. So they finish the line of questions or the interviews with them selling themselves to you as opposed to you selling yourself to them. So now they find it's a whole mindset thing. So like, yeah, I really do want to be a part of this, and this is why you should choose me. And so they take a little, you know, you don't find yourself at the mercy of them and wasting your time, because now all my line of questions is built around them selling themselves to the organization. All right, guys, this definitely have been a long week, but we finally narrowed down a decision, and we finally picked someone for this virtual assistant position. This is a very, probably one of the most important decisions that we had to make in a while, so that's why we kind of took a little longer than usual. But we wanted to make sure that we got a really good candidate, and we wanted to make sure that we got a really good person that was going to be able to do this job and be around for a minute, based, you know, like you said, based off the current struggles that every employer is facing today. So it was very important to us that we make sure that we were thorough and we took our time. Yeah, man, any of those guys that, any of you guys that are hiring or looking for staff or whatever, what are some tricks of the trades that you guys use? Or if you are just hiring your first person, I hope that, you know, we was able to give you some insight and help you kind of come up with or create your own process that kind of works for you. But yeah, guys, until next time, I guess I gotta get to work now. Peace.